Restream here. Definitely is going to work, but oh God. So, okay, it's not showing anything here. Oh, it says stream, okay. But it's not a test though, is it? So it's going to be... Okay, UK News, what's been happening? Let's try and test that one out. Okay, so if I click on the link there. It's not a test. There we go, that's good. So that's one way of doing it, I suppose. Let's go here. Okay. Right, now let's test the make sure everything's working okay. Looks right from here. So live on Telegram. A lot of people are going to be there, of course. It's a bit early today. Live on YouTube and live on TikTok. Believe it or not, yes, TikTok. Yes, quite. So, what has been happening in the UK? What's been going on here? And for me, if I can get this bloody thing working at least, it's not showing. Apparently I'm live on there as well, but I don't know why it's not showing it. It's bizarre. Let's see what's happening here on TikTok monitor. Well, I am live, apparently. Okay, let's paste and go there, see what happens. Just make sure it's working fine, that's all. Yep, it is. Okay. So what's been happening? Well, three things. Well, many things, but top three things I think, which are things that need to be talked about, is one of them is this euthanasia bill they're going to be going through, debating in Parliament right now, which is okay, it's what we expect. But as usual, they just want to pass these bills. I think they're more important than anything else. Our economy is tanking. Our economy is a mess. Absolute mess. We're trying to promote growth. We're trying to make life better for people. But instead, what Parliament want to talk about is this. Well, we want to euthanize the elderly. Get rid of people who are terminally ill as quickly as we can. You know, it saves us a bit of cost of money as well, I suppose. Apparently they don't want to be a burden on us, which is one of the reasons why it happens in the first place. People out there, I mean, the best example I give you is that some years ago there was a story that came out how a woman had called the police. And he said, well, look, my dad is not able to, I think he fell somewhere or something, or unable to use the toilet or something. I said, can you help him? It's like, lady, that's your job. That's your father. That's your parent. I mean, before World War II, you could argue that these were never issues because if we had issues within the family, we dealt with them ourselves. We tend to have big families back then. And there are still big families today, but outside of Europe. Now it's somebody else's problem. Okay, we can't handle this problem, but the state itself can't handle this issue. It can't help you, assist you. Sod it. Let's give it to somebody else. Oh, we can't handle it because there's not enough money around. Okay, let's get rid of these people then. That's what's happening today with the euthanasia bill. Dr. Mengele will be very proud of Kim Leadbetter, who was parachuted in the seat that she ran for after her sister was brutally killed. She was parachuted into that seat, right? We have a Tisha Mbatley who's still in hiding apparently because of the threats he got, but just because he did his job in school. You got no protection from the state. You got no protection from Kim Leadbetter. No one. But these guys want to pass through this bill where clearly, as it states there, the safeguards are inadequate. No one wants this bill to go through. Nobody does. The majority do not want this bill to go through. In the same way as the abortion bill, decriminalised abortion bill, went through the other day. The economy is tanking, our bills are going up, inflation's still high, electricity bills are still high. We're involved in 2 conflicts now. But hey, as long as Stella Creasy got her chance to put through this bill, along with her partner in crime, I forget her name, so we can decriminalise abortion. The police should not get involved if a woman terminates her unborn child early because we don't want to go through all the trauma. Even though she deliberately did it, wants to get rid of the baby, with no way of proving it, sod it. Let's just not bother going through the case anymore. So we're now okay with murdering babies. We're okay with getting rid of the elderly. We're ready to sacrifice our young men and send them abroad overseas to die for a conflict nobody wants. But to hell with your economy, the bills you have to pay, to make ends meet, to put food on the table for your family, sod all that. This is what's happening right now. We keep talking about free speech, we talk about all these other things, people get tied up in culture wars all the time. When it came to real big issues, they were very quiet about this. Because this debate, this debate did not start now. It started many years ago. The abortion question has always been a problem because the people on the right typically don't know how to argue it. Because they're always on defense. Throw it back in their face and say, how can you justify killing this 32-week-old baby? And these idiots on the opposite side always come out and say, well, we don't want to criminalise abortion right up to the point of birth. No. We know how this begins. You start small and you go slowly up and up and up right to the point. Because there'll be another story further down the line where a woman had a termination, or she was refused termination at 32, 33 weeks, right? And she died because the doctors could not give it. And the same old story, the same idiots like Stella Creasy come out and say, oh, we can't criminalise this woman. Oh, this poor woman died because she was refused an abortion. That same stupid lie they put out there in Ireland. Remember that story about that poor woman that died? Who died from sepsis? She didn't die because she was refused an abortion. She died because of sepsis. And they pushed that in the media. They pushed all around across the entire country. For some reason, the UK got involved in Irish abortion laws. Yeah, people like Kay Burley and I forget the other idiot's name on Sky News. They were so giddy and so happy that Ireland passed a law to legalise abortion. They're all in it together. And the trouble we have is, once you put people in power, are they going to reverse this? Is the question. So I'm not really too worried or concerned by this at this point in time, because they're always going to push the stuff out there because they have a majority in Parliament. Labour have a super majority in Parliament. There's no way of stopping this unless the House of Lords get involved. Right? We take it to a higher court. Whatever we might do, we have to exhaust all our options. But what I don't get is why people on the right are so reactive to this. The question is, once you've done this, when they pass it through, which they probably will, if Reform UK were to win the election next time round, are they going to reverse this? Yes or no? If your answer is no, you're not getting my vote. And to hell with you and the rest of the country. This is what the Tories did. They got in power, they said all this fancy stuff about culture, the country. Yes, but we're a Christian nation. They throw this free meat to us all the time. All the time. They get in power and they do nothing. And they've been in power 14 years. Remember that. They were in power for 14 years. They went all out progressive. They didn't give a damn what we felt or what we thought about these issues. What the majority of the country felt. Here we have the Labour government in campaign mode all the time because apparently they didn't win the last election. They think there's an election 1 month from now. I have no idea why. Particularly with Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister. Who have spent all this time talking about how difficult life is for us. How the Tories have screwed us over, the last government. And this is their priority. Getting a war overrun, expanding the war in Ukraine, putting a euthanasia bill in place, along with the abortion bill, the legalised abortion bill. That's been their priority. Don't care where you stand on these issues, every person should be angry by this. And the question is, how do you challenge that anger? I'm not saying you have to, but how do you channel that anger into a vote? It's getting people out there to vote for you. And the culture wars don't seem to work here in the UK. That's the problem. They don't work. I'm going to do a video or a stream in the near future about the people on the right. Because I'm very much part of that, along with most people out there. And what's been happening there. Because I'll tell you right now, they're the reason why we lose. Every time. The left always win because they circle the wagons. Even though they always have this mindset of, I just want power. Because we can do things when we have power. The people on the right are too bickering about whether or not, well, why is free speech not the top priority? Why is immigration not the top priority? Why isn't, what was I going to say? The grooming gang scandal not the top priority? Look what the police are doing to us. Look what they're doing to us here. Oh, well, I can't do anything about it. Get off your arse and do something about it. You're grown men. Protect your community, protect your family, protect your children. You're not doing that. It appears to be the case. I've heard stories even today that in places like Rotherham, for example, they're still openly grooming girls. You have to ask yourself the question, how are they still doing that? Because until you put a stop to it, they'll keep getting away with it. They'll keep getting away with it. And we haven't learned any lessons from this. If you look at the NHS, as on the topic of this whole situation debate, you can see now MPs are about to cast their vote on the assisted dying debate. And I'm going to tell you right now, even if it doesn't pass, it'll probably be a tight vote. And that's not good enough. There should be 400 at least MPs against this. 400 at least. It's not going to be like that. Okay, so I'm typing now. I'm looking for what is the amount of compensation that the NHS has paid out. Let's say 10 years. Okay, or we take it from a certain period, right? Listen to this. This is from negligence, mistakes made, and so on, right? Okay, so. If you look at 2014-2015, it was 1.2 billion. 2019 to 2020, 2.17 billion. 2022 to 2023, 2.64 billion paid out. In 2023 and 2024, record 2.82 billion was paid out. These are separate totals, though, not an increase from the previous one, like 2.46. So that's going to be, what is it? 180 million. That's 2.82 billion on its own. Break to damages. If you look at 2019 to 2020 to 2023 to 2024, look at total cash Damages and legal cost, 12.3 billion. Provision future liabilities from 2023 to 2024, £58.2 billion they're paying out. You look at the NHS budget. Remember I just said to you there, 58.2 billion. The total spending that we know of, the Department of Health and Social Care budget in England was 188.5 billion. So what is the amount of compensation we're paying as the cut, not from the budget, but on top of that, what's the percentage that we're paying out if you look at the budget of the NHS? Think about it. So if you take that number, the 58.2, it's almost a third of the budget, of the NHS budget, that we pay out for compensation. So with all the modern technology we have, the change in treatment all across the board, right? All that. Almost a third. Very scary. So we're going to wait on the stream's going to end after this vote. The legalised abortion bill was a joke to begin with. Because all they have to wait for is a new story to come out. Oh, this poor woman died. Oh, this poor woman had an abortion. She was pressured into it, and all this other nonsense we keep hearing. So according to these women who are the feminists out there, the modern day feminists, not the old school feminists, the modern day feminists, are now saying, well, it's okay if a woman has an abortion by getting pills by post, lying about her terms of pregnancy and everything else, then having that, right, and then as a result, may lose her life, has problems with her health, then she has to be able to claim compensation from the NHS. Then it goes to the House of Commons, oh, we've got to vote for this scheme, guys, because, you know, this woman, what kind of woman going through this, even though she made that decision in the first place. Right? You know, sod the baby. We're having a population crisis in this country. People don't have enough children, but here we are terminating them. We talk about the elderly all the time, we've got to try and help the elderly, sod them. As someone described it recently, called the culture of death. That was my words many years ago. Many years ago. Okay, so I don't know what's happening. Let's see if we can watch it live. Not that I want to watch it live, but let's get it live actually. Let's see if I sign in. Do I have an account with the BBC? I don't think I do. Or still do. Maybe I still do. Let's see this one and try.
British society will look very different to how they would like it to look.
Henry, what have been the main concerns, the main objections that we've heard from MPs in recent days since the votes we've been hearing about last week?
No, I should leave on this for now until we get the vote.
I think the principal objection you hear from opponents of the legislation is about whether there are adequate safeguards. And you saw them proposing amendments, including this morning, which they said would build in more safeguards to ensure that those who might take advantage of the opportunity to receive medical assistance to end their lives if they've been diagnosed with a terminal illness and 6 months to live or less would not feel coerced into doing so. Essentially, I think the biggest fault line in this debate is over whether this legislation does or does not adequately safeguard against that risk of coercion. There is also kind of overlaid on it, and people who've watched a lot of today's proceedings will have seen this, there's also overlaid on top of that debate a slightly more kind of meta, if you will, debate about whether the debate has been long enough, about whether MPs have had enough opportunity to scrutinise things, And there's, this other debate running through this. I mean, it generally has to say falls along the same lines of how people feel about the issue more generally, but there is this other debate running along about whether this ought to have had more time, whether this ought to have been proposed by the government rather than by a backbench Labour MP, Kim Leadbeater, who is shepherding this legislation through the House of Commons, and she hopes that will reach its accomplishment in just a few minutes' time.
Henry, thank you very much. We'll be back with you as soon as we have a result. Henry Zethman there outside the Commons chamber where the vote is currently going on. Let's talk to somebody who's very much for an assisted dying law, Dave Sowery. Dave, you've been carrying a very striking sign today. Why did I have to take my wife to Dignitas? Tell us why you're here.
She went to Dignitas in 2022 for an assisted death, and I accompanied her, and that's why I feel so passionately that we need a change in the law.
Tell us a little of her story. She had multiple sclerosis.
She had MS, she had epilepsy and various other related issues. She was severely disabled by the time we went to Switzerland. She wouldn't actually qualify under Kim Leadbeater's bill because MS generally isn't considered to be a terminal illness, but I'm very supportive of this bill. It may not have helped Christy, but it will help hundreds and hopefully thousands of people in the coming months if it does pass.
And what you went through with Christine, it was something you wouldn't wish on anybody else?
No, I think it was worse for her than it was for me. The anxiety, the stress was primarily on her. It was her decision. And you should never forget what a huge decision it is to make, to end your life in that way. For her, it was the right thing to do. She saw no future for herself other than thinking that however bad things were, they were only going to get worse.
If you feel able to, tell us what travelling to Switzerland was like emotionally. I mean, it's something that very few of us can imagine.
It was surreal. The whole experience was very surreal. The practicalities of getting Christy to the airport, onto a plane.
I bet it was surreal taking your wife, taking your other half, or taking a relative of yours over to have them killed. I mean, that would be quite surreal. Not sad, but surreal. I mean, seriously, this is the culture in this country is a sewer, as I've always said. And it looks like they're back now, which means they've all voted. I'm not sure how long it's going to take for them to come out and read it. Waiting for the tellers maybe to come out and do it. Is it happening now? Finalising total. We'll see the Prime Minister say something maybe afterwards, and I'm not going to bother listening to that. He'll probably run off. So let's see if we can get a listen to this now.
And reported to police. I thought, well, I haven't done anything wrong. I felt I'd lived up to my...
You did. You took someone over to have them killed. Yes. You haven't done anything wrong.
You wanted to prosecute me. I'm, persuade a jury that I've done something wrong. But yes, it was stressful. I think if you'd had bad experiences with the police in the past, it could have been terrifying.
That's what the police are supposed to do. Not do anything. Oh, you took someone over to have them killed over in Switzerland. No problem.
I was wishing somebody else.
And travelling back from Switzerland...
Oh, shut up, woman. I want to hear the vote. I want to listen to what you have to say. Come on. Has it already been done, maybe? Let's see if there's anything come out. Because this is a apparently live feed, but there's a delay. So maybe it's come out live already. Ah, dearie me. Well, at least we have to sit here and listen to the Prime Minister lying all the time, at least, And of course, one thing to note as well, the amount of times that the Prime Minister's lied, the Speaker of the House is his job to do, which is to tell the Prime Minister, stop twisting the question, lying, come out, come out and answer the question. You're just twisting it and turning something else. It's not nothing to do with the question itself. What's this about? Let's come out and talking now or not?
Results about whether this assisted dying bill will go any further. And Henry, how imminent do we think it is?
Certainly within the next few minutes. I don't think that the tellers have yet arrived in the House of Commons chamber, which is when you'll know that it really is imminent. I have to say the mood of those in favour of this legislation, which began the day pretty bullish, got more bullish when we had earlier votes on amendments, has got even more bullish. Whether that is accurate or deluded, we will find out soon. I mean, I think the sort of intensity of speculation about what the result is going to be, even just here in central lobby of Parliament where I'm standing, reflects the significance of this decision. You know, not every vote in Parliament is close, not every vote in Parliament is closely monitored. This one, I mean, the result, as you can see now, is being watched so closely by so many MPs in the House of Commons chamber. That is unusual. It reflects what a seismic moment this really is.
And we see the benches very, very full. Henry, turnout, how does it look to you?
Massive. I mean, usually you'd have lots more MPs abstaining. I think we can hear the result now.
The noes to the left, 291.
The ayes to the right, 314. The noes to the left, 291. The ayes have it, and look! That completes third reading. If people who wish to leave now, please do so.
And there we have it. The ayes to the right, 314 in favour of this bill. The noes to the left, 291. This bill passes. Henry, your reaction first of all.
That is a huge moment in British politics, a huge moment in British public life. In procedural terms, this is not the end of the process. This proposed legislation still has to go to the House of Lords. In political terms, I think we can say that an assisted dying law is almost certain to come into force in England and Wales. That is a massive change to British politics.
No one asked for this at all. No one did. They just passed it. Oh, dearie me. Well, there we go. There we are. There you go. 314. That says it'll be closer regardless. 14-4. And against, yes, it will have to get scrutinised again. House of Lords can go through bits and pieces. There'll be challenges brought in the courts. And of course, once it gets through, it'll be given assent by the King. Because if their own people think, oh, the King can stop this. No, they don't. The monarchy don't get involved in this crap anymore. They don't. They just sign a piece of paper and they're done with it. They don't intervene. You would have thought they should intervene in this, but they won't. There's that useless Speaker of the House there. Anyway, that's enough of that, and we'll end the stream from here. So until next time,